Welcome to Autism Tips and Tools, where we highlight the best practical guidance from previous episodes of Autism Knows No Borders. Whether you're a self-advocate, a family member, or a service provider, there's something here for you. I'm Rachel Harmon, a professional in the field of autism services, outreach, and advocacy. And the following clip is from my conversation with Maxwell Huffman and Jen Goubeaud of Aspiritech, a quality assurance company with over 90% of autistic employees. Maxwell is autistic himself and oversees operations across Aspiritech's program lines, including software quality assurance, accessibility, and data services. And Jen, who has ADHD, is the program manager for the company's accessibility program line. Listen as they talk about commonly requested accommodations in the workplace and give tips on how to hire and train neurodiverse staff.
A really common one that I have with the group that I work with is just giving them priorities to work on, especially like in downtime when we're just sort of working on internal processes. I will send folks a list of things that I think would be helpful for them to work on and put it in a priority, 1 through 5. Like, these are the things that you should work on. Something that takes me 2 minutes can give somebody a week of things to work on. So it's such a simple thing to do for somebody to help them be productive and remain focused. Another one is just things like sending out agendas before a meeting and then following up with something in writing about what we talked about, having Slack reminders.
Sorry, just that one example you gave about the agenda could be beneficial for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're neurotypical, like just having that kind of consistency and continuity will just help everything flow better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Definitely. So, that's something that we try to do a lot, sending things out ahead of time, following up in writing. We use Slack for our communication, and it's really easy to automate on Slack, like put automated reminders in some of the channels. So just really simple environmental changes that make such a difference for people. For some of the projects, when we have a lot of test cases to run, the leads will just assign test cases to people so that they don't have to figure out what things they need to work on. So just little things that take a couple minutes out of somebody's day help somebody else be productive for hours, if not days. It's great. Just little tweaks like that.
Yeah. And Maxwell, could you elaborate on, that hiring and training process that you went through? Like, what are some things that Aspiritech does to make sure that people are successful?
Absolutely. And I had so many thoughts when Jen was talking about accommodations. I'll talk about the hiring and the training. But when Jen mentioned environments, and I talked about sensory rooms earlier, that's such a huge part of it. Because I know, like for myself, even the accommodation of allowing people a hybrid schedule to work from home or to work in the office. Originally, when most of us were working in the office pre-pandemic, especially during the winter months, we had a little space heater that I had near me because I run cold. I'm always a colder individual. It's just how I am, being on the spectrum, and I'm very sensitive to it. And I work better if I'm in an environment that's heated properly. Like, I remember in school, that was a huge thing for me, and in other work environments that I was at. So just that sense of understanding that the environment matters for each individual, and you're not going to get the best out of them unless you have feedback from that individual and you design that environment for them to really flourish. So it's those simple accommodations and the communication. People communicate in so many different ways, Slack, writing, nonverbal versus verbal. Some people need a lot more check-ins. Some people just need it all in writing, but it's different styles and they might all be on the same team. Right. So, and that's something that, going to the training question that you asked, Rachel, that's something that I noticed first day in training, which I've been, like I said, I had a lot of other jobs before this, and I'd been through other trainings before, and they tended to follow a real cookie cutter methodology where everyone's going through the same type of training. And they're kind of trying to identify, and this is other companies that I've been through, they're trying to identify if people fit the type of individual that they're looking for. That's not what Aspiritech does, right? When we go through the training, we understand that the individuals that we're receiving have had struggles finding other employment before, and we understand that they're neurodiverse. It might not all be autism. That's what we were founded for, and that's what we mainly cater to. But there's other neurodiversities here, like ADHD, dyslexia. And frankly, these things overlap. I remember when I was in high school, before I was diagnosed with autism and they officially gave me the diagnosis of Asperger's, I wrote down all the different things that I potentially could have, from bipolar to ADHD to dyslexia. And it was a huge list. It was a huge list. And other individuals that I've met here at Aspiritech, I've seen those same things. As I talk to them in one-to-ones and I really get to know them, and they feel like they're in an environment and a group where they can feel comfortable discussing those things, we identify that. Hopefully in the interview, if they're comfortable letting us know that all of that, that helps them in the employment process and in that early training to identify, well, this person is more verbal, or this person needs it in writing. They're not going to respond as well in a one-to-one or with the verbal instructions. They're going to need it in writing, very specific writing. And as we went through that first week of training and we learned quality assurance, I could see that they were identifying that. And identifying what the support needs are. So if there's a higher support need, when Jen mentioned earlier the ESS team that she was on, that's our emotional support staff that we have here. And we employ a large team of them. A lot of companies wouldn't even have one. We have 4 individuals here that are dedicated to that for our staff. So the training was really fantastic. It was quality assurance. It was learning how to build a test case. We try to do groups that are no larger than 10 individuals, I would say. And lots of times they're as small as 4 individuals because it's easier to work in those smaller groups. And we have multiple trainers that are there, including an emotional support staff team member that participates in the training as well. And then we all meet as a group afterwards and discuss the skill sets that we have identified in the trainees that have come through the program, and also the which program line they might fit, which is a big effort here. Now that I've moved to the position of director of operations here, I'm trying to expand the skill sets that we can cater to at Aspiritech, so we can bring in individuals that have a higher level of support need, but it matches a skill set that's needed as well. And that's sort of the trick, is finding where that good skill set match is for an individual.
Thanks for tuning in to Autism Knows No Borders. Would you like to hear Jen and Maxwell talk about accessibility in digital spaces and how to create opportunities for neurodivergent employees to thrive? Follow the link in the show notes for the full conversation, and be sure to subscribe for more insights from people connected to autism, inspiring change and building community. Let's work together to transform how the world relates to autism. Thanks for listening. Take care.